Hello. So today's video, I'm going to be making tofu bacon. And again, you should have pretty much everything in your pantry. It's a pretty easy recipe. And it's very, very good for those who need bacon in their life. This is a good substitute. We eat it all the time. We have it with our tofu scramble and stuff like that. But you can also make BLTs and anything bacon related. So what you're going to need for this recipe, you're going to need, of course, tofu. If you don't have already pressed tofu, you're going to need a tofu press, vegetable oil, soy sauce, maple syrup, liquid smoke, onion powder, nutritional yeast, a tablespoon and a teaspoon measurement. Now, this is somewhat quick, but not super quick. So you got to preheat your oven, and you also need to marinate your tofu. So I don't know what you have. I used to buy the tofu that you had to drain and press in a tofu press. But my life isn't that organized. So I would be like, oh, I want to make this. And oh, crap, I got to press my tofu. So I find this at Walmart. And this is an already pressed tofu. And it's super easy. It's nice and firm. So if you don't press, because sometimes you get in a hurry and you don't press it long enough and it breaks apart when you're doing something. So I really like this tofu, but I'm going to show you how to use a tofu press with it anyway, just in case. So I'm just going to cut open this bag. So if this was a regular thing of tofu, you would open it up. Usually it's a pull top. Spilling the liquid. See, there's still kind of liquid in it. So I drain it, and there's your block. Now, what's great about this is it's already pressed and it's firm. So, but if you've never used a tofu press, you're going to take, it's going to look like this. So here's your bucket. Here's the drainage rack. So you take that, you put the tofu right inside, okay? Like I said, I'm not very talented at being a camera woman. Come on, camera. Come on. I want you guys to see this, but I can't. There we go. You're going to place this right on top of your tofu. And you're going to bring your straps down on each side. See, this one's already pressed and it's great. So, and then you're going to flip it in and it's going to press that down. Now, let me see if I can get some liquid out of this. So still a little bit of liquid came out of that. When you use one that isn't already pressed, there's going to be a whole lot of water coming out of your tofu press. So there it is. Tofu nice and pressed. So once your tofu is pressed, or if you're using the already pressed tofu, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to mix up. I like to mix up my marinade. That way, I like to let it, I give it like at least a half hour to sit in the marinade. So, we're going to start making the marinade. So, you're going to need 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. You're also going to need the vegetable oil for when you bake your tofu. Just because it's, I used to do it without the oil. And the tofu, it cooked up nice and it was great, but it didn't get a lot of that crispiness to it. I just used like cooking spray to cut out some of the fat. But the oil really helps on your tray to get it more of that crispiness. So now we're going to do 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And like I said, you could either go to Walmart or Kroger's and they have, you know, like a container of it. We use it a lot, so we get it in bulk. So that's really nice. So what did I say? 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. 1 and 2. Again, nutritional yeast is a huge staple in vegan cooking, especially if you're going to make something cheese-like cashew cheese or vegan mozzarella or something like that. Nutritional yeast is very important. Now, we're going to do 3 teaspoons of liquid smoke. Now, this is what's going to give you the bacony feel. Again, you can buy this right at Walmart. It's right there, like in the barbecue section. It's usually on the top shelf. They have this, which is just regular liquid smoke, hickory liquid smoke, and then there's one more. I can't remember. It's a different flavor. And then you're going to need 2 teaspoons of onion powder. And then you just whisk it all up. Whisk it all up. Okay. So we'll set that aside. And now I'm going to cut my tofu. Let me see if that works better. Oh yeah, much better. I'll get this down one day. Probably by my 10th or 20th or 100th video, I'll get it done. So, what I like to do with the tofu, so you got a block. Also, I like to pat it dry after it's been either pressed or if I opened up out of the container, just to get some of that, more of that liquid off. So, I cut so your tofu block looks like this. I cut it right down the middle. And it turns into this. Then, my next step is you cut it like strips of bacon. Now, you can either have them longwise, or you could do them like a shorter bacon. Now, you want them thin, but you don't want them so thin that they break off while you're marinating them in the soy sauce mixture. So, you're just going to go ahead and cut a piece. That's my end piece, so I always kind of say that. That one's always a little bit bigger. So you get something like this. So there's your bacon-like thing. And I just set it aside. So cut. So you're looking at, I wouldn't go any thicker than that. So you can get, now if you want to go thinner for more of a, get a little crispier, you can go like that. But I wouldn't go much thinner than that. Like I said, it's still tofu. So it's flimsy. And it will break off. And which isn't a bad thing. It still tastes good. You know, you still can eat it. It ain't going to ruin your recipe. But I just think it looks prettier when it stays together. So, and like I said before, when I was using the tofu that I pressed myself, sometimes I didn't have the patience for it, so I would it would fall apart on me just because I didn't press it long enough. But you definitely want to get like firm or extra firm tofu for this. So that's another thing. I guess I should have said at the beginning. So firm or extra firm tofu. I believe this might be just firm. But it's, like I said, it's already been pressed, so that's okay. So when you want more stability in your recipes, like when you're using tofu, you need to use the firm or the extra firm. you can get organic. You know, that's a, if you're eating like that, they have a organic tofu. And, but yeah, so if you're going to make like a smoothie or something like ricotta-like, you don't always have to have the extra firm tofu. So, and we eat a lot of tofu. I absolutely love it. I can bake this up, whether it's bacon or just salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. I can just cook it up, bake it, and just eat the whole damn pan before I even use it for what I want. So, what I like to do is I get a nice big Ziploc bag, and I put all my tofu into the bag. If you notice, there are no children today because they are still asleep. We had a busy day yesterday. We had fun. So, mixture, or marinade, I should say, into the bag. I seal it up. And then I just let it marinate. I mix it around a little bit in there, push it around so it gets all beautiful. And I let this sit. And we will, what I'll do is, right before I think, maybe like in 15 minutes, I'll turn my oven on. And then, once that dings, I know that I've had this marinating enough. But periodically, I'll come in and I'll flip it over just to get that to go all over all the tofu and give it that nice smoky, bacony taste. So we'll be back and we'll finish this up so you can see how great this is. Okay, so the oven is at 375 and ready to bake. So I got a little bit of olive oil in this pan, or this bowl. And I got a little brush, and I'm just going to brush it on to my pan. Now, like I said, you can use spray like Pam or whatever to cut out the oil, fat, whatever. I just find that this just makes it crispier when you do it like that. So the next step is open up your bag of tofu. And they're going to look like this. They're going to be all coated with the soy sauce, liquid smoke. And I'm just going to lay them out on my tray. Now, I like to, as I'm pulling them out, just make sure that they have the marinade on them, because sometimes, you know, a couple pieces might be stuck together and they might have been missed, which I think I have one, which I'll show you. I might not. Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit there. See, it's not all marinated on there. And of course, like I said, some pieces are going to break because it is tofu. So, but you can just throw those pieces right on there, so it's not going to hurt it. But yeah, I just put these on my pan, real nice. And the, oh, it smells delicious. It smells so good. I love tofu. I love it. And the thing with tofu is it doesn't really have a taste on its own. It's one of those foods that take on whatever taste you want it to. So the fact that all the garlic and onion powder, soy sauce, the liquid smoke is what it's going to take on. And that's why tofu is so versatile. I mean, you can make anything out of it. You can cube it, fry it up, put it in an air fryer. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can make, you know, stir fry with it. Anything you really want. It's great. Okay, so I'm going to just rinse my hands off real quick. My bad. Okay, so my pan now looks like this. So that's my pan right now. So there is my tofu bacon on the sheet. I'm going to open up my oven. Don't mind my oven. I'm going to put it right into the oven. Close it up. And I usually let my tofu in 15 minutes. I cook it for 15, come back, flip it, and cook it for another 15. It just gets it nice and crispy and wonderful. But it's up to you on the texture you want. So if you want it to be a little less crispy, you can cook it not as long. You don't have to cook it as long. It's like with vegan cooking, it's like with any cooking. It's hit or miss sometimes. You just gotta like try it, see if you can do it. If it doesn't turn out, figure out where you made your mistake and do it again. So we'll be back. I'm going to set the timer for 15. We'll flip and then we'll taste it after it's done. All right, bye. Okay, so my buzzer just went off. It's been 15 minutes. I'm going to pull out my bacon and I'm going to go ahead and flip it. I'm just going to show you what this looks like. So doesn't that look good? So I'll flip it over. It'll get a little more crispy, or if this is fine with you, you can leave it at that. But I'm going to flip it. I'm going to do about another 15, and then it'll be done. So the tofu is done. It has cooked 15 minutes on one side and 15 on the other. And this is what you get. Nice tofu. That's a thicker slice that I cut. Here's one of the thinner slices that I cut. So as you can see, that's the bacon. So it's very good. It's very yummy. BLTs, just bacon and eggs, or fake eggs, just eggs, tofu scramble. You can do anything with it. You know, break it a little longer, crumble it up, put it on your baked potato, put some on your salad. But yeah, so that is tofu bacon for you. Thanks for watching. We'll keep going at these videos, whether people are watching or not. Just want to inform people on some of the stuff that I do. So, have a good day.